I got a lot of comments on my other ceiling fan videos, so I figured I'd do another one here to get more detail, because everybody wants to see more detail of the capacitor and how it's wired up. So I'll get a little bit closer into this ceiling fan. Well, that one's still running from the other video, and this one finally died, so I'm going to change it out and show you exactly which wires go where and all that. So other comments were which capacitor did I use, where did I get it from, and all that. So the capacitor I use is this one here. The one I bought was this part number, but you can no longer get it. The 4565 UF. Can't no longer get it. I found this on Amazon. If you buy the CBB61, it's got the same values, same colors, everything's the same on it. So before we get started, always make sure you turn the power off at the breaker, and then double check it with a meter if you have a meter before you work on it. Safety first. Alright, so I just took the lamp assembly down with the 3 screws. I'm not going to show that. Here's the capacitor. Now this one, if you look at it, doesn't look like it's really that bad, right? But it is. If you rub your thumb across here, you'll feel a little hump in it. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but there's a little burn mark around in a circle like this. There is here, but I don't know if it shows up on the video. Maybe you can see it in that. But there's a little hump in it, so I know it's bad. So anyway, so the gray wire, the purple wire, and the brown wire are all going to the switch, the pull switch. The other gray wire, right here, which both gray wires are the same connection. The other gray wire goes to the middle of the forward reverse switch, and then the red wire, that one goes on up to the motor, and then the other side of the motor will be the white wire, the neutral. So the easiest thing to do for this capacitor is just cut this wire nut off on the red one, cut this gray one off, cut that wire nut off, and then on these 3, since it's going to the switch, I'm not going to mess with the switch because they're a pain in the butt. You can stick a little screwdriver in there and pull your wire out and slide a new wire in. Easiest thing to do for me is just cut the wire here, cut it here, and cut that one there, and then wire nut the new capacitor on it, and that'll fix it. Alright, so I'm going to start with this. Cut the red wire. I'm going to cut it right here. Go ahead and strip it back. And some people might like to just go ahead and connect one at a time, so you don't get out of sequence here or whatever. But I would rather just cut them all and then put it on, but I'm going to do it this way just to help other people. So this is the other gray one. It's going to the forward reverse switch. This one's not going to be as long. I'm going to pull it out over here a little bit closer to me so I can get some power to strip that back. Now on these gray wires, they're both the same connection. If you look at the drawing there, it shows them connected together. That just shows you that they're the same connection. So go ahead and connect that together. Now I'll move on to the other wires. I'm going to go ahead and cut the gray, the brown, and the purple, and throw this capacitor away. And then strip these back. Now connect all these together. Purple, of course. Brown to brown. And the last one, gray to gray. And don't drop the wire yet. Good thing I got another one because that one went off the deck. And then after you do all the wire nuts, make sure that the wires are going to stay in. Pull on them a little bit, on all of them. Alright, let's put this thing back together and then turn it on. Alright, so I got the power on, and I have it in the off position here on the pull switch. So I'll go through each position. There we go. Sometimes pull switches don't really go. So that should be 3, should go full speed now, just like that one. It does. And I can hear it slow it down a little bit. And then position 1, it should be really slow like it was doing originally. So that fixed that. Now while I'm talking about capacitors, we have other capacitors that go bad in the house, and I'm going to show you some other things that you can look at, like your air conditioner and your pool pumps, stuff like that. They all have capacitors in them. They go bad. They're very inexpensive, easy to fix, can save you a ton of money. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. Here's a capacitor for air conditioners. The most common problem with all air conditioners. They'll go bad, and they're only about $5 to $20 a piece. One way to test to see if it's bad is if your air conditioner is coming on, like your fan's not turning, you can stick a screwdriver in here and push start your fan, and then if it starts taking off, then you know that capacitor is bad. As far as testing the compressor, you can't really do that. You'll just have to listen to it to see if it sounds like it's locked up. If it sounds like it's locked up, it's most likely the capacitor not giving it a kickstart. That's what these do. These give basically a kickstart to the motors to get them running. These can be dangerous, so if you're not comfortable working on it, hire a professional. Another thing is on here, they've got a common connector, one for the compressor and one for the fan. Another thing to know is before working on them, always try to short them out from the common to the fan and common to the compressor before working on them. Another place for a capacitor to go bad is here on a pool pump. There's a capacitor underneath this cover to start that motor. The pump started too. Here's another example of capacitors going bad. I switched these out on a motherboard on a computer. The computer was slowing down a lot and locking up sometimes. This is on an older computer and an XP machine that we needed to work. But anyway, I was able to revive the computer by changing these capacitors out. When a capacitor is bad, you'll see the top bubble up like this right here, or the rubber will shoot out the bottom. It'll explode like that. If you see it like that, let's see if there's another one here. This one top is blown out right here. Let's see. So I've replaced those before to fix a PC, so it fixes the motherboards on PCs. I've replaced them in computers in cars. Like I got an old Mustang. It's got a 30-year-old car. If a Mustang is sitting still for a long time, say 5 years or whatever, those capacitors will go bad, and then you'll either have fuel pump problems or some other problems. There in my particular Mustang, there's 3 capacitors that go bad in the ECU. So there's capacitors that go bad everywhere. So it's good to know these things.